Yeah, baby, we're starting the podcast right now. We're back. You know what, dude? Live. Welcome, everybody, to the show. YKWD. I started social media and podcasting. The fact. The YKWD podcast. YKWD's back again. Old school, back in the day, where it all started. Before them all. YKWD. This podcast is so fun and crazy. It has no rules. Shut up. You're ruining this.
Where's the bandana, man?
Sorry, it's a comedy podcast. This isn't NPR.
That's what this podcast does.
Is there any better show? This is the original. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Robert Kelly, and we're back. Another episode of YKWD. You know what, dude? The first acronym show on the fucking plate. Now, everybody does an acronym. Name it. They all do one. Right?
What's Mark Maron's WTF?
Yep. I was before that. Name another one.
Your mom's house, YMH.
Before that, name another one. They were dating. They weren't even together. He was fat.
What's Bill Burr's podcast network?
Monday morning something. Same thing. Before that,
Oh, JRE, Joe Rogan Experience.
I mean, let's not get crazy. I mean, let's go nuts. Anyways, above the Comedy Cellar at the Comedy Cellar Studios, I have a fantastic guest tonight. One of my favorite people. I love when he's around. I love talking to him. And the last time out on the podcast, surprise hit. I thought it'd get what? Maybe 3 or 4 views. The podcast went nuts. So interesting guy. Who do we got, Joe?
We got Yoshi Obayashi.
Yo, why is he sitting so far away? Is this a custom thing? Is this a Japanese thing? You must be 2 white women or 3 Japanese women away. I just made that up.
No,
I'm
I
sorry.
thought maybe this was a COVID policy.
No, fuck no. Why is he so far away?
Wait, why? What? It's this far?
Your face that way.
Why, you must move?
Turn
All right.
towards me. Is that okay, Joe? Is that better? Talking to the microphone, Joe. Can't hear you. Have headphones on.
Yeah. I'm very, Bobby, I'm not antisocial.
You are.
I really am.
Yoshi, it's been a long time.
Has it?
Yep.
About what, 8 months, 10 months ago?
I mean, listen, to a traveler like you, that's nothing.
Yeah.
To a regular person like me,
You're
it's
not
a
a
long
regular
time.
person, Bobby.
What do you mean I'm not a regular person?
You're not a regular person.
Do tell. Do tell.
You're famous.
What? First of all, whatever that little move was with the Coke where you moved it first and then you looked up, I don't like. Did you see that business he just did? That acting.
Wait a minute. I wasn't being sarcastic.
You're
It's feng shui,
that was
Bobby.
Is it feng shui?
Yes. There you go.
Dude, I think of you all the time when I think about traveling and just doing shit. Where have you been?
I just got back from Japan on Wednesday.
I thought you weren't supposed to go to Japan. I thought when you go to Japan, the last podcast, look it up, go back, watch the show. You broke a cunt bone somewhere. Wait a minute, beep that. You got into a fight.
You got to beep that? Why?
No, it was a joke.
Okay.
Wow, Jesus Christ. You really are a fucking libtard. You have to beep it on YouTube, but not on punchup.live.
Yeah.
/ Robert Kelly. Yeah, dude, you said you go back to Japan, you got arrested at the airport.
Okay, about 20 months ago, Russell Peters' brother asked me, hey, I'm going to travel to Japan. Would you mind traveling with me? And, Joe Rogan asked me like 10 years ago to go to Japan with him. And I told him, like, I feel a little uncomfortable doing that because I could get arrested. So I said no to Joe.
You said no to Joe and you said yes to Russell Peters' brother?
I mean, they've done so much for me.
They have.
Yeah, but I don't know. I was a little worried about 10 years ago. But, by the time I went last year, it was pushing 20 years. I thought I was all right.
Is there a statute of limitation on breaking a twat bone?
I don't think there is such thing as statute of limitation. But here's the thing. Some people keep asking me, well, why don't you find out if they're looking for you? Here's the problem.
Why would you do that?
The very act of asking them will put them in a position they have to do something now.
That would remind them that's there. 100%. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
but it was still unnerving, you know. And
Because you're going. Listen, people don't know a little context to all this. Last time in
I don't
Japan,
want to.
I don't want to bring it up.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna context.
yeah,
That's all. Can I bring up some context? Some stuff happened.
yes.
Last time you were in Japan, family things, whatever. Some stuff.
2003. Yeah.
2003, a long time ago.
Yeah.
When you were a different person,
Yes.
and you got into some shit, and you left Japan. I'm never going back. I can never go back. Some stuff happened.
But do you know what happened?
I do.
Because people talk about this stuff. I was in Taipei, ready to fly into Osaka, Japan. So I'm a little nervous, you know, because
Yeah.
I haven't been back in Japan about almost 20 years at that point. This is like last year.
Yeah.
At the terminal, everyone's Asian, obviously, except a couple, I don't know, minority. Well, they're minorities in Asia, but blacks and white folks, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to one of my friends on the phone, and this one white guy keep looking at me and like, what is this? 5 minutes later, I'm talking to, I don't remember who I was talking to. He walked up to me and say, "Are you Yoshi?" And I was like, yes. And you know what this motherfucker said? Within 6 months of that time, Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer was talking about me doing something. Bert was talking about it. So this guy heard the pod, and most people don't recognize me, but they recognize my accent and my voice.
Yeah.
So he just heard me, so he came over. So he's asking all kinds of questions at terminal. I'm like, I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah. How did he know you from the other Asian people there?
Shut up.
How? I mean, that's
Shut
fucking
up.
wild.
Shut
mean-
your fucking.
I mean, seriously.
I'm
dude.
6'1". First of all, stick
Well,
out.
that is you. They probably thought you were a basketball player. Yes. But
And that's really funny.
I mean, that you should give him credit for going Yoshi in the middle of a sea of your face. Just hundreds. Can you turn your mic on so I can hear you laughing? It helps my self-esteem. Thanks. I mean, dude, that's wild that somebody went.
I mean, it's like,
I've been to Japan.
yeah.
I would not be able to pick you up
Shut up.
out of a lineup.
Shut the fuck up.
I'd walk right by your
Oh,
face.
come on. Here's the thing. We're going to talk about in a second this election and what podcast has done during the campaign.
Yeah.
But in the last 7 or 8 years, once again, they don't know my face, right?
Right.
But they recognize
Because
me.
you look like everybody they know.
Shut up.
I'm sorry. Is that not? I'm sorry. Am I?
I mean, it's kind of accurate.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
This is a little nuance. Do Asian people recognize other Asians?
Or what ethnicity?
Yeah. Can they see you and go, "Oh, he's got Korean in him"? You know what I mean?
Generally speaking, kind of.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, I don't know if this makes sense. You know, when stereotypically, like, people say, like, oh, this particular group look all the same. But
Yeah.
I think what they're really saying is they all look different in the same way from me. I
Right.
think that's what they're saying.
Oh, that's a good way of looking at it.
And, but, I mean, you know what it is? You know what's weird? I was born in Japan. I've been 5 times since I went back last year, right?
You've been
And-
back to Japan 5 times since you went back last year.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot.
It's a lot because I miss a lot of the stuff there, and I went back,
Ramen,
and then
dumplings,
it's a little
gyoza,
gyoza.
tempura.
Yes, it's unnerving when I go there because I got so used to America's diversity. It's very strange to me now that I go to Japan. Everybody looks same
Yeah.
all the fucking time.
Right.
It's a little weird for me. I'm more comfortable over here where people are fucking loud and rude and
Right.
you know, fucking with you, but I'm kind of used to it. It's too polite there.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love that you're not loud in public. I love the tradition. I love the courtesy. I love the Japanese culture. To me,
Yeah.
is one of my favorite places I've ever been. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
They respect their elderly. People are nice. I love that it's not loud. I love that it's not crazy. And they do crazy, silly shit too.
It's a good place if you're not Japanese and if you have money.
Right.
Because if
It's expensive.
no, it's really really cheap.
Like I said, it's cheap. It's very cheap,
Cheap?
there.
I have a lot of friends living in Japan. They're non-Japanese, live in Japan. They complain to me all the time, like, Yoshi, I've been here 20, 30, 40 years. I'm fluent in Japanese, and they don't treat me like a native. And I always remind them, like, you're such a fucking idiot. You count your blessing. If you live in Japan and you don't have obligation being Japanese, all the headache that goes with it, it's the perfect place for you because you have all the benefit without any other responsibility.
Right.
That's the perfect place if you're a foreigner.
Well, they will not speak English. They're like, fuck you, speak Japanese. That's what when I was there,
Yeah.
I was like, hey, can I? And they're like, huh? And
When did you go?
I went in 2005, I think, or something like that. I went to USO.
It changed quite a bit since then.
What happened? Godzilla? What?
I know this is going to be like 60 minutes,
I'm
90
sorry.
minutes, like Chinese water torture. Well, I think
Don't they?
same difference.
Yeah.
I know you're going to say that. Ching or Chang, whatever.
Whoa! How dare you? I
You
would
you
never
just said
say
Asian
that.
thing right now, just now. When you go, whoa.
Oh. Oh.
No, because I think online stuff, Netflix and podcasts and
made it
YouTube,
popular, yeah.
it's doing something weird, you know. You know, like if you go to every mall in America, you pretty much know exactly what they have, where you could look for something.
Yeah.
It's becoming uniform, right?
Really?
And I think Japan is in similar way too, because American companies and products and franchise, they're huge in Japan. In fact, I make an argument that American fast food has killed more Japanese than those two nukes dropped in Japan.
Wow. That's I mean, can I
We
say-
much prefer nukes than those junk food. It's really weird to see fat Japanese people. Fatness is so normal here. A fat Japanese.
I mean, I feel you're insulting my country. Right
no,
now.
I know I'm American. I'm just saying, but
Well, they do. Their McDonald's is different, though, bro.
what do you
Their-
mean?
Well, when you go to the McDonald's, you don't have to deal with. This is coming to a Japanese McDonald's.
I see
Just
what you're-
order
yeah.
something for me. Order something for me. Just order a Big Mac with fries and a Coke.
Big Mac onegaishimasu.
Hi. Okay. Hey. And ask for. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now order something for me in America.
Could I get number 3 Big Mac?
What? What? We out of Big Macs. What? I mean, it's a different. They're very polite. Here's another thing too. You can't. When I was in Japan,
Yeah.
if you were like, "Hey man, don't give me the egg on that," because they have egg on the hamburger there, which I
Yeah.
love. That's such a Japanese thing.
Yeah.
If you're like, "Oh, don't give me no cheese," they're like, it's cheese." Like they're like, "We can't change. It is what it is." It's very like,
No. This is serious.
Yeah.
You pinpoint something very, very true.
yeah,
They have set of orders.
yep.
And if you ask anything beyond that, they get really confused
Fuck.
because most Japanese will not make that kind of requirement,
Yep.
request, and when they receive that, they don't want to humiliate you, but they don't know what to do either.
Right.
Americans are really good at like a spare moment, like you have to make a change. They're good at adapting.
Yep.
I don't think Japanese are like that at all.
No,
you know?
they know how to make that Big Mac in that photo,
Yeah.
and that when you come in, you go.
But you can't deviate from that.
They don't. They don't
No.
want to.
Yeah.
I remember, like when I was on the plane.
Yeah.
We took a lot of planes because we went to different islands.
Yeah.
If you were in the bathroom when they were landing, they were like, "Go back to seat." I'm like, "Give me a minute, sir." I'm like, "Give me a fucking minute."
Yeah.
You know, they don't deviate from the
No.
rules. Even the prisons in Japan. I watched a documentary on the prisons. There's the rules. Like they wake up, they make their bed, they fold up their little futon, they push it in the corner, they make everything neat, they wash everything. It's very orderly and
Did they fold it like origami?
yeah, they fold once, twice, 3 times, put it in the corner. I mean, there is a lot of tradition that they and they're very orderly, which I love that.
Sense of order, yeah.
Sense of order, which I love about Japanese people.
I think this is another thing. This is something I think I wasn't really used to. I saw so many 5 and 6-year-old kids get on the bus, take a subway by themselves.
Yeah.
Almost impossible over here. I mean, would you feel comfortable?
Well, also, Japanese people aren't fucking their kids. I don't think pedophilia is a big thing there.
It exists everywhere.
Of course it does.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing to say. And the way you
Why
said it.
is that a weird?
Because
Why?
you're like, where I go, it exists. No, it does exist everywhere, but it's not. I think that kids there are brought up, they're maturer. Look, we went through the 60s, 70s, 80s,
Yeah.
and even the 90s, where they just let you out. Latchkey kid, just go.
I remember that.
And then kids were getting killed and
Yeah.
molested and fucked up. So now they've become these helicopter parents.
Yeah.
Where they go to the park with the kids. They sit there with the kids. Anywhere they go, they drop
These
them
days,
off.
I think they're called drone parents now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I try, like we gave my kid the keys to the house.
Yeah.
And he'll just go out and leave. And be like, all right, I'm going to hang out. All right.
How old is he now?
He's 11. So, but I still give, because I remember my childhood, dude. When I was his age, I was out drinking and partying and hanging out. You know what I mean?
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, that was the 80s, man. That was the 70s and 80s. You hung out at the park and you had some pops. You drank, you fucking did weird shit. Now it's like I think that generation, 70s, 80s, and 90s, are like, look, man, we have to do better with our kids.
Yeah.
And we overcompensated. There was a study, I've talked about this before. My generation grew up with depression. I mean, anxiety. I mean,
Yeah.
no, my generation grew up with depression, where we were told, you're a fucking idiot. We got into fights. We
Yeah.
got all this shit. We were just being adults at a very young age. I remember making tea when I was in first grade for myself. My mother wasn't home. Nobody was home.
Yeah.
I would come home from school alone and turn the TV on and go out and play at the park by ourselves, in the summer. You just go to the park. They had a guy at the park with baseball bats and baseballs, and you just went there all day.
Sure.
And we grew up with depression, and, we were fucked up and sad. This generation, but we had no fear. This generation is growing up with anxiety because they don't do anything on their own.
Bobby, we're about the same age. Like, we did have fear of nuclear attack by Soviet Union and things like that.
Yeah, but even that, that shit made us stronger.
Yeah.
We didn't have fear of life. I remember climbing roofs and jumping roof to roof, and I remember
I did that too,
The
yeah.
wintertime, we grabbed the end of a bumper and mush. I remember I mushed to school one day on a bus. I grabbed the back of the bus because I didn't have money, so I just grabbed it and it dragged me to the school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We did so much crazy shit back then. We had no fear of being hurt or, any of that shit. Now kids are so afraid of everything, doing anything by
Are they
themselves.
afraid, or the parents are making them afraid?
Their parents are passing on the fear.
Yeah.
Because the parent, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that, don't go there, stop that, don't go there. Be home at this time. Where are you going to be? I'll pick you up, blah, blah, blah. My mother never picked me up from anywhere. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? My mother took the bus, for God's sakes. You know what I mean? So it's like these kids are growing up with all this anxiety because they were just pampered their whole lives.
And their cell phone is the world.
Yeah.
And
I mean, buddy, I just went to Cuba for a week.
Yeah.
And not having a cell phone,
it's a good thing.
not looking at Instagram, not looking at any social media, not being able to look at anything anybody said, and just waking up. I was reading a lot
Yeah.
and sitting by myself a lot with my own thoughts.
Yeah.
It was the most I felt so cleansed. Me and Ari went there so we wouldn't have to deal with the election. We
Sure.
wanted to go see the country and we always wanted to go to Cuba for cigars and to see that beautiful place, right? And we knew it was going to be, we brought our expectations way down.
Yeah.
We were like, the food's going to not be good because they don't have the ability to make great food. We know that it's going to be a poor country, so we got to stay somewhere safe, but we can't stay in any of the hotels. But we're going to we brought our expectations way down.
Yeah.
But also, we didn't want to know what was happening in the election this week. We didn't want to deal with any of the bullshit. I didn't want to. This person said that, this, that, and who's it? And all the people flipping out or being happy, whatever. And to not know any of it.
Yeah.
To not get involved in any of it, and it had no effect on my life whatsoever except positive. It was awesome.
Going back to the kids thing, and I'll go back and make comments on what you just said.
Molesting kids?
No.
Oh, okay.
When we were kids,
Yeah.
because we didn't have cell phone,
Yeah.
we used to daydream, right? And I think there's something positive about daydreaming, like famously Steve Jobs and like Isaac Newton, they had problems and creative solution popped up. When you're on your cell phone all the time, these kids are not having any other daydreams,
Yeah.
So these corporations are literally taking that away from kids and instituting their notion of dream and things like that.
Yeah.
That had, and parents, older folks, because we have to work for these corporations all the time. We literally sleep less, so we dream less. You know what was interesting during COVID? Because everyone was stuck at home, it's one of the first time in like the last 20 years, people actually had more sleep and they were having vivid dreams. I think there's an institute in like, I don't remember, University of Houston or someplace in Houston, they have an institute of dreaming, and I think people are having more vivid dream and actually sleeping better. At least that was one positive thing of COVID, but now we're back into this less daydreaming, I think, which has a positive thing for kids. And people are sleeping less. And when they have a little bit of time, it's not a vivid dream, I'm trying to say something weird is going on.
And this, I don't really talk about this too much, but I really believe in the power of manifestation.
Yeah.
I believe if you can see it, you can have a version of it. You won't have the
That makes sense.
exact version of it, but I believe if you can see it, not that it's magically being drawn to you, but if you really can sit there and dream about something and think about it and see yourself there, which is a form of daydreaming, you will get there. The things that you need to get there will come in your path, and it will manifest in your life. I really believe in that stuff.
Inversely, if you're not allowed to imagine, you're not going to make it happen, right?
Absolutely. And if you're always saying, oh, I can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't ever have that. Or that's too much. It shuts down that creative thought process.
Sure.
That allows you to notice opportunities to make these things happen.
Yeah, I agree.
And I really believe in like naps.
Mm-hmm.
Like just take an hour to go back to bed in the middle of the fucking day.
I agree.
If you can go somewhere and just fucking relax somewhere for a half hour or an hour and take a nap, your brain shuts down. You're not thinking of any bullshit, and your brain's thinking of the things that you want or that you like or that you appreciate. I 100% believe in that.
Unfortunately, most people probably can't do it because they're working. Well, their jobs won't allow it,
Yeah, well, most people, I think, I don't know. I hate when I say most people because I don't fucking know. But, when I see families at a restaurant and everybody's on their phone, I'm like, this is a wasted opportunity of like connection that you can have.
Well, I'm sure you've seen plenty of this shit in malls where there's 5 kids and they're all on cell phones, right?
Right.
And 2, I remember when I was a teenager, the first thing you want to do is get a driver's license. Not with this generation, because if you have a cell phone, even if they're not next to you, FaceTime or whatever, right? So there's no sense of urgency either,
Well, also, when I was a kid, we had less. I guess the internet was TV.
Yeah.
And we only had 5 channels.
Yes.
And they only had kids stuff on Saturday.
Yes.
Everything else was news and boring adult shit. So you lived for Saturday morning. I remember waking up Saturday morning, getting my big bowl of cereal, sitting in front of the TV, cartoons, Bugs Bunny, Creature Double Feature, the Three Stooges, and then it would go into adult stuff in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Wrestling would come on at like noon, and then all of a sudden it was sports and adults and crazy shit. So you'd shut it down. Then you'd go out. You go out, meet your friends.
Yes.
But Saturday was the only day for kids. They didn't have anything else on.
I think if you're a young teenager, you might watch something like Letterman or something when they have a special band or something on.
I didn't watch any of that shit. No, I didn't watch. I didn't really fuck around with. And plus, TV back then, it was like, if you missed a show, you missed it forever.
Yeah.
If you didn't watch it if you didn't watch the A-Team on Monday night, you didn't see it again. It's
Yeah.
not. They didn't have reruns.
That's true.
They didn't have. You couldn't record it. And then I think now we went from 5 TV channels to everything ever filmed ever.
Infinity. Really.
Infinity.
Yeah.
Infinity in your phone. You can just turn and do. It's the greatest thing ever.
And it is the greatest thing, and it's also the worst thing.
It's the worst thing in the world.
We did talk about TV, but I think movies were also a big factor too, because I'm sure this was probably true too. Like, I didn't want to go back to school Monday not watching Return of the Jedi or something when everybody saw it.
Right.
So I'll watch it, and I don't want to be that one kid not seeing it or something, But other than that, you're right. We don't
But
really.
we experienced stuff like socially.
Yeah.
Socially, we were around other kids more.
Yeah.
Like, dude, we used to go to the movies.
Yes.
I remember going to see Grease. Like, what are you laughing at? I remember going to see Grease in a theater packed with people and just being around all these people, seeing this thing for the first time. It was like this moment you had.
You have a communal thing.
I don't have to do that anymore. I can sit down in my living room and just watch whatever the fuck I want on an 85-inch fucking TV.
Can I tell you? So I'm going to be a downer.
Yeah.
Okay, so one, there is a communal thing right now, like this election or Super Bowl, right? But we're really running out of things like we could share. And I think this is why we have national tragedies. Because every time there's a school shooting or something, this is something everybody feel it and know what you're talking about. Yeah. But outside of that, everyone's watching their special show that I've never heard of before, There's nothing really common to talk about anymore. Well, it's really, really strange.
I think that, like, TV, like Taylor Sheridan... yeah, Taylor Sheridan, he's the creator of Yellowstone.
Oh, yeah.
He's the creator of a lot of really good TV.
All hits, right?
All pretty much hits. And I think that, like, The Penguin, have you seen The Penguin yet?
I'm going to watch it tonight when I go to the airport.
Such a great show.
Somebody told me it's like DC meets Sopranos.
Yes, that's a great, but it's better than that because it's DC meets The Sopranos, but it's shot for television in epic movie.
So it is good
visual.
as everybody's saying.
It's as good as everybody's saying. And what I love about it, the thing I hate about it though is that
you're not in it.
No. Yes. I mean, that fucking sucked. Whatever. I wasn't even thinking of that, but yeah, that blows. But here's another thing. Is that
all right?
Like, I talked to somebody today. I just watched the first episode. Oh, dude, I've watched all of them. And it's like, you just you just sat there and watched hours of a show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I used to love having to wait till next week.
Now, this is two different experience, isn't it? Because if you watch Breaking Bad week after week for 5-6 years, it's a different experience. When you binge it, you quickly learn when Walter White turned bad.
Yeah.
But when you watch it week to week, it's kind of gradual, so you don't know exactly where the show's going. You
feel the emotion they wanted you to feel over the time that they wanted you to feel it.
I hate to wait, but I think it's a more satisfying experience
for a TV show. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
If not, just make a movie.
Yeah.
It's crazy that television right now is bigger than movies.
It started in 1999.
Why do you say that?
Soprano, The West Wing. And, 1999 is considered to be the greatest year in the movies. It's the last year before things got down the toilet. It's because in 1999, most of those movies are not dependent on ticket sales. They still make a lot of money through DVD. So they could take a big swing and do a lot of creative stuff like John Malkovich or Matrix and all these great movies, like 1939, 1999, 2004, 2007. There's decades, years where they were great, but 1999 was particularly amazing year.
Well, it's
when the movie,
streaming.
yeah, and so, but
Streaming killed the business.
killed, and then and when the DVD sales crashed, now studios are like pressured to make money when the movie hits the theaters, and if you don't do it, you could lose your career too. So 99 is considered to be, if not the greatest or second greatest year in movies, but the television shows really start taking it over. It was more creative. Sopranos started there, and a couple years before that, you had Oz, and like 7 or 8 years before the NYPD Blues. And
Yeah, and then you
like
had
that.
Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
You had, of course, Breaking Bad, The Wire.
Yeah,
Was
and The Shield.
The
Is another,
Shield.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
Rescue Me.
I think these shows, they're taking creative risk that the movies are really afraid to do it
Well,
because
you know
it
what
costs
they-
too much money to do that.
You know what they did? TV was always corny. TV was always just a little corny.
Yeah,
They didn't swear. They didn't show nudity. If you were a TV actor, you were a TV actor. But then there was movie stars.
yeah,
But then all of a sudden they started to show boobs. They started to swear. HBO, you know what I mean? But then FX was
Yeah.
the first network to go, you know what? Because network TV has those rules.
yes,
Cable had no rules, but they followed network rules for some reason. And FX, and I believe it was John Landgraf, was the first guy to take a risk.
yeah.
And say-
with Louis, of course.
Well, it was
Yeah.
really The Shield.
yeah.
The Shield is when they started swearing. They showed male nudity, bums and shit like that.
It's an incredible series that should be mentioned with all the great ones.
It's one of the greatest shows.
It's one of the most painful things I've saw in the last season.
Yeah.
You know which episodes I'm talking about.
Well, tell the people.
Why?
Spoil it.
I'm not going to spoil it, but they're just
I give you permission. Watch this. This is how you do it. Spoiler alert. If you don't want to know, they should know by now. It's fucking been 15 years since the show's on.
well, I mean, when Shane killed his wife and kids,
Yeah.
and then of course that.
What? I didn't see that episode.
Shut the fuck
Oh,
up!
you
You're such a fucking prick. All right.
Fucking Yoshi. What the fuck did he do? No, I'm kidding.
It was incredible because it almost looked like a religious scene.
Yeah.
How they're all peacefully laying dead there, and of course, what really gets people, because that show is, if somebody from the 1920s and 30s saw that show,
Oh.
they'll be shocked because that the most clearly ambiguous at best evil character practically got away with it.
Right.
I mean, he grabbed the gun and left the fucking office, but it's very ambiguous. But I think that's probably true to life too. I mean,
Well, if you look at like that network, I
Yeah.
feel like that network and maybe a little Spike TV, but FX is the network that changed television for the better. Because
HBO too.
HBO did, but HBO was like, I don't know.
Come on, man.
no,
Oz and Sopranos.
HBO, absolutely.
you know.
I would definitely give it to them, but I'm talking like cable channel.
Yeah.
Like, they stuck to the network guidelines.
Yes.
HBO, Cinemax, Showtime, they were like movies.
Yeah.
They kind of had no rules, but you paid for it. These were channels that you just got.
Yeah.
You had to pay for HBO.
Sure.
So if you wanted, rated R shit, you paid for it. But these are channels you just got. You got FX. So they kind of clung on to the rules. They were the first channel to go, fuck it, we don't need to. We're not obligated to do that. And they were like, let's take, that's why Louis came out. It was crazy. Rescue Me with the all the shit that they did of, the alcoholism, the firefighters with all these problems,
Larry's,
and
yeah.
cheating and sex and talking about, the word fag and queer and spick and that amazing scene that they talked about when they had to have HR come in and talk about words they can't use anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't get away with that on TV.
Like you were saying, John Landgraf, right? He's like Coach, right? Like Coach Belichick. And just like HBO had Chris Albrecht,
Right.
he really changed.
He was fucking awesome.
awesome, yeah. And unfortunately, he did something bad in HBO with his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, whatever. He lost his thing. But
What did he do again?
He supposedly beat up his girlfriend at the time.
But what did she do?
Oh, Jesus
kidding.
Christ.
No one ever asked that. No one says, what did she do? Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I tell you a funny story about that. We were doing Comic Relief. They brought it back one year for the Las Vegas Comedy Festival they had for 1 year.
Yeah.
And it was huge. Or maybe they had it for 2 years. It was just a massive comedy festival. It was Aspen Comedy Festival, but in Vegas.
Yeah.
They just HBO's Comedy Festival, whatever it was, and it's huge. And I was backstage at Comic Relief. I mean, everybody's there.
Yeah.
And Louis was there. Dane was doing it. He was at his biggest at that point, right?
Who?
Dane Cook.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what the fuck, dude? That's funny.
No, I just didn't hear you.
Okay. I thought you were making a joke.
No.
So I'm backstage. I'm in front of the food, and I'm just getting the food. And this guy's trying to kind of muscle me. He wanted some where I was. But I was like, hey, fuck him. It was, Louis goes, Bobby. I go, what? And I turn, get out of the way. Let him get some food. I'm like, oh, sorry, dude. Whatever. Grab some fucking chicken salad, whatever you want. It was the head of HBO.
Oh, really?
It was, what's his name again?
Chris Albrecht.
Chris Albrecht was trying to get some chicken salad, and I was just fucking muscling him out of it. And Louis was like, dude, that's the head of it. That's Chris. And I'm like, who? He's like, the fucking owner of it all, the big guy.
Was he being dick to you?
No, he was being a nice guy. He was just trying to get chicken salad, and I was just being a dick to him.
Yeah.
Because I was there, But it's the head
I'm
of
sure if it was a woman, he would just beat the shit out of her right there.
Yeah, right.
And
I should have hit him. It was a funny thing, too. I remember Dane did a joke, and Whoopi came up to him and was like, I like that joke. I might use that.
what?
And Dane was like, she was like, I'll see you later. And he goes, what? Yeah, I guess that generation just took each other's shit and didn't even think about it.
Whoa.
I mean, she was friends with Robin Williams, who was supposed to be an absorber, let's call it. Not a hack, but he absorbed people.
I heard he was generous. Like, if you complain, like, hey, you stole my joke, he will write you a check. Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
One of the nicest people I've
Yeah,
ever met in
yeah.
the business. Yeah, one
Yeah.
of the nicest people. But going back to
Those are television shows. Yeah.
the thing that I like about you, Yoshi, that, when I first met you, you were this weird porn guy
Yeah.
that was
Well,
trying
I'm still the same weird porn guy. No, I am.
Yeah, but you're not doing porn. You're not in the porn business anymore.
No, but
You were a guy that, look, let's put it this way. You'd show
Yeah.
up, hey, man, what's going on? You did stand up. Okay, cool. And then you would just be like, hey, you want some dildos? And you had a trunk full of porns and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But then the last time you were on the show, all the stuff, like, you love theater. Like, you love going to see live theater shows. You will come to New York
yeah.
to go to matinees to see shows. You're here now watching shows, right?
That was part of the reason I was here. Yeah, I just saw Oh Mary yesterday. That's like the biggest comedy sensation. At that theater, it's the first time in 120, 30 years that they're averaging $1 million in sales every week. It's the biggest show last year and a half.
Really?
Yes, and tickets are really hard to get. I had to go there like 5 a.m., staying in line until 10 a.m. to get rush tickets, Of course, I made a mistake. I didn't realize on Mondays, the star of the show wasn't performing on Mondays.
So you saw the other person?
Yeah, understudy, but she was phenomenal. So that was great. And I went with a kid named Andrew Manning, the comic locally. So we went. It was a great show. Then tonight I just saw Walden with Emmy Rossum. Fantastic.
Right.
And then I'm leaving tomorrow. But it's a little weird because, Bobby, you're a clean, funny guy. People trust you, but you also have like the trust of really legend like Louis and Dane and all these guys trust you. You know what I mean? And part of the reason is they see something in you. And I've been saying this for years. You're one of the half dozen people that I know that should be doing one-man show because you have something to say.
Yeah.
But it is a different animal, isn't it? Because there's a movie right now. I've seen it twice. Anora by Sean Baker. It's a phenomenal film, and it's going to get a nomination for Oscar. I guarantee you, with my life. Milky Madison. She was on the show on FX. Why am I blanking right now? But she's phenomenal in it. She plays a hooker. Not hooker. Stripper.
Same thing.
But what was interesting?
It's close.
What was interesting, the powerful part of the film, she's naked all the time because she's a stripper. But there's a scene in the movie where she's fully clothed, but she opened up emotionally. That was the only time she was really naked. See, tits all around, whatever. I work in sex business. I didn't care. It's that kind of performance what people want to see in theaters. Like a stand-up comedy, you laugh for 45 minutes, you forget about it, you go home.
Yeah.
But this one-man show, after you finish, the audience feel like you really left something on stage, and it really make people think about things.
Yeah.
And I know that I think you told me a couple of times that you talked about struggle with food and things like that. But like underneath it, it's not just food; it's something else that's making you have an issue with food.
Well, it's funny you bring that up too.
Yeah.
It's I was just talking about this in therapy today.
Yeah.
Because anytime I go to therapy,
Yeah.
it always winds up back on me.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love my therapist, because it always winds up on me.
Yeah.
Even in AA, it always winds up back on you. When I talk to people in the program, it's like, okay, where is that coming from? And,
Yeah.
what is that from? Like whatever it is, you get mad at somebody. Where is that from? And it always goes back. It always goes back
Yeah.
to, my anger goes back to when I was a kid
Yeah.
and I just wanted to be loved, just wanted to be a kid.
Sure.
And I would, in that age where, the adults would, the people that loved you the most would make fun of you, fuck with you.
It's the same people that hurt you the most too.
It's the same people that hurt you the
Yeah.
most. And they don't
I
even,
understand.
they don't even know they're doing it
Yeah.
because it was done to them.
Yes.
And, the same thing that made me strong enough to survive this shit
Yeah.
is the same stuff that gave me bad techniques and wired my brain wrong to deal with things now.
Yes.
So
It's a coping mechanism, right?
it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
And it's like, so now that I have a child and a wife that
Yeah.
I love, those coping mechanisms come out with them.
Yeah.
And it's not fair to them.
Yes.
I can't give that to my kid.
Yes.
I have to figure it out now. I have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because if I don't unwire my shit and figure that out with me,
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to him.
Yes.
And I also have to do that for my wife.
Yeah.
Because if I'm letting whatever she does that triggers those things,
Sure.
if I don't figure that out and fix it and aware of it, I'm just gonna. That's gonna be passed on to him. That's how you treat a wife. That's how you treat a woman. I can't do that to him.
Yes.
So if I look back to when I was a kid, me and Ari, I talked about this. We were walking.
Yeah.
When we were in. I've talked about this before. I'm sorry if you heard the story, but the power went out for 2.5 days. Finally, the power came back on. It came back on. We went to this place. He was like, "This isn't the vibe." He's like, "Let's go to this other place." But the other place was very far away. And
Yeah.
then we realized very shortly that there's not electricity everywhere. So we're walking in Cuba through the hood in the complete darkness.
Yeah.
And I was getting mad
Sure.
because I was afraid. And I was mad at him because I was mad at myself
Yeah.
because I didn't say no.
Yes.
When he was like, "Let's go somewhere else," I should have said, "I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay here. If you want to go ahead. Let me know how it is.
Yeah.
But I'm going to stay here because I'm comfortable here."
Yeah.
I
Since
feel-
he's a wandering Jew, he have to go.
Well, he's a
Adventurer.
adventurer.
Yeah. I saw that in Sweden when we were hanging out.
Right. He is an adventurer.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I love him.
Yeah.
And I love being around people like that.
Yeah. Fearless.
My friend Jack Vaughn is that way.
Yeah.
They are not afraid of other countries and other people and
Yeah.
places. they understand the worst thing that's going to happen is probably get robbed.
Yeah.
But I'm so from Boston, getting robbed or beaten up or abused or hit or
Yeah.
attacked was such a part of my childhood that it triggers that shit. My stepfather, I
Yeah.
learned from him that if I pull a knife on you, if I can be more angry than you, if I can be scarier than you, I learned from the bullies that if I can fucking scream louder than you
Yeah.
and fucking punch harder or hit you harder, then you leave me alone.
Yeah.
So if I can build up enough rage in me
Yes.
and I can release it at you, maybe it will get you to not hurt me. And if I have to go further,
You know who you sound like?
who?
Korean people. The anger thing is really.
That is offensive.
Yeah.
Which ones, north or south?
West Koreans.
Well, the thing is that, like, you know, to go back but then you have to go back through, you know, I'm looking at my son, he's 11. By the
Yeah.
time he was 11, I was drinking.
Yeah.
I was hanging out till 12 at night by a barrel, by a train track with 30-year-old men
Yeah.
drinking Seagram 7. And it wasn't because I wanted to. You know, it was because I didn't know anything else. I didn't know how to say no. Nobody over there gave a fuck about me.
Yeah.
The people over here seemed to care about me.
Sure.
So I did what they wanted me to do. That's like that thing with Ari. It's like, I'm there with him. I don't want to let him down. I want to just go.
Yeah.
And then as we went, I realized I'm in a fucking bad situation. So I got angry. We got into a little argument. And then I realized while later we're at this hotel and everything's okay, I was like, bro, it's not you. It's me.
Yeah.
When I feel danger, whether it be physical or emotional, I attack. I fucking lose it. I become that thing, that little monster, just so you can't fucking get me. You can't hurt me, right? So to like in this part of my life, I have to always go back and figure this shit out and unhinge it. And I go back to my life. I mean, you know, you talk about a one-man show. I absolutely have a one-man show. I am terrified to do it.
Yeah.
Because if I do it,
It's a different animal, isn't it?
it's a different animal and I'll lose what I have now. Because, you know, look, at comics always, he's doing that one-man show shit.
Yeah.
You know? And, you know, I
Well,
feel
fuck
like
their attitude.
I understand
Yeah.
you, but I feel like if I go into that realm of it,
Yeah.
I'll lose my funny.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, you're 100.
Because just like you were telling me you're acting angry because Ari and whatnot, I understand that. But I also saw you at your place, the way you treat your son. It just proved my point all the time. You can never love a kid enough. You shower the kid with a lot of optimism and love, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great thing. It's kind of sad. In Japan, they don't do that. I think they think it weakened the kid to be independent. But it makes me sad because when I see kids in Japan, they're well behaved, but that doesn't mean they're they have well-being.
Adjusted.
Yeah, and they're happy and things like that. And these kids that I remember, my cousin's kids, they're just loud little shits, and I just want to hit them, you know. 3-4 years, but I remember one year when I come back, when the kid was hitting a little before they turned teenager, all that shit disappeared to the point it made me sad because what made them individual being like a little bratty asshole, that's gone now, you know, and that's
Yeah.
the price Japan pay for having such a stable society. But you take that little bit of personality, a little bit of a happiness, a little bit of uniqueness, you know.
Yeah.
And I guess the problem is we just don't we have two society that's so extreme in both ways. There's not a happy medium where we should be able to have some sense of communal sense and like respect for others, but also individual happiness too. It's a really hard one to balance.
It is hard because, you know, I don't want it's as a parent, bro, you don't want to do something that will jeopardize your kid's future where he makes wrong choices and it's your fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, you know, last night I go downstairs. It's late.
Yeah.
She gave him 20 more minutes on Call of Duty, right?
Yeah.
So he's He's like, Dad, come play with me. I got downstairs. He's got NWA blasting on his little phone.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like this music he shouldn't be listening to.
Yeah.
But I'm just looking at him like, this fucking kid is so cool.
Yeah.
He's sitting he's got a little phone going. He's, you know, playing NWA. He's playing gangster rap from my generation. I know the songs.
Yeah.
I'm fighting, singing, you know, fuck the police because I know all the. And we're playing Call of Duty. I was like, I'm just gonna let this go, man.
Yeah.
Because if this is what I'm in my brain, I'm like, if this is what fucks him up, I'm like, this is his wild stallion. This is the thing that makes him kind of cool to me.
Yeah.
That he's 11, listening to NWA, playing video games. You know, I'm kind of all right with that. And I know his mom will be like, he can't listen to that. I get it.
Yeah.
But is saying fuck the police, is he not going to have respect for the police? No.
No. He's smart enough to know the difference, you know.
Right. He respects the police. He respects he loves America. I love that about him.
Did you say he's 11 years old?
11.
In 6 or 7 years, the reality is going to hit him. He's not going to be a kid anymore. Once you're adult, that's it, man.
I know.
He only got 7 more years to be a kid, you know. And whether he's ready or not, the whole world is going to hit him pretty hard. So I just think, and I've been to 70 countries, you know, to live in a country where you could do that, you know, not worry about clean water or war and things like that. It's very, very lucky to live like that.
I really think Americans need to go out of this country, go to a country like Cuba, go to South America.
Yeah, Middle East.
Middle
Africa,
East.
Yeah.
Go somewhere where you don't have you can't just walk in and turn a light on. You can't just walk in. You can't just take a shit and flush down baby wipes. You can't take a shower every fucking twice a day. You can't just turn the sink on and get a cup of water. When I got back to America from Cuba, and this happened to me with Guatemala too, it made me go, I walked into my house and I was like, I have so fucking much.
Yes.
The fact that we can just take a subway and go anywhere you want in the city. You can go in and get food anywhere. You can get coffees, and there's lines for lattes, and there's every fast food in the world. This country is the best country in the world.
All the medical service available to you that even kings didn't have it 1,500 years ago.
And it's funny because they're like, we don't have free Medicare. Yeah, but you can go into a clinic. I remember when I had no Medicaid, they had a clinic on 59th Street, the Chelsea Clinic. I went in there. They got a W-2. How much you make? I made shit money. $25 a visit for whatever you wanted.
You know, when you go places like France and Japan, they have a different attitude about food. And I know in France, I think on Mondays, they'll talk about what kind of meals they're going to eat for the rest of the week. In Japan, kids are kind of forced to prepare the food and serve other kids. So there's a sense like a connection between food and them. Part of the reason, it's not that Americans are like lazy. They're not. Like, Americans are one of the hardest working people in terms of hours that they work. It just, we don't have a very healthy food culture and things that we eat. We put a lot of shit in their bodies. And I think biggest thing we could do is have a healthier food and exercise. I think we will have less medical bills, you know, but we don't.
Oh, dude, fuck it, 100%. This whole food thing is to get us fucked up, so we have to take a pill and pay insurance and pay all this bullshit and go to the 100%. 100%. That's why I love that Robert Kennedy Jr. is going to be.
He's Maha, and this MAGA, and I'm Masa, make America skinny again.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like,
I'm 100% for that.
Yeah, I think just losing weight is a huge factor, you know?
Yeah.
I can't believe every time I go to gym or something and I see people driving to exercise, these motherfuckers have to park their car closest to gym. You're going to exercise, right? Why don't you just park farther away? Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a really weird attitude. Like,
it's a funny thing because now when I do park.
Yeah.
Oh, speak of fucking, oh shit. Hang on one second.
Are you in trouble?
No, I don't know. It's my wife. Hello.
Hi.
Hey, Max.
Hi, Dad.
Hey, I'm doing a podcast with Yoshi. Remember Yoshi?
Yeah. Wait. Is it like that Asian dude?
That's your son. That's a perfect one.
That's him.
Okay.
Remember
Hi,
Yoshi?
Yoshi.
Hey, the Puerto Rican guy.
He said hello.
Oh yeah, hey, it's the Russian guy.
No, he's Japanese, Korean.
Same difference.
Yeah.
I just want to call and say goodnight.
I love you, kid.
I'm
See,
gonna see you tomorrow morning. I already have I have all my checklists done.
You did your checklist, great. And tomorrow, what's it? 23 push-ups, 24 push-ups, and 24
No,
sit-ups.
I'm upping it up.
To what?
30.
Come on, dude. All right, 30.
No shit, I'm doing 30.
Whoa, 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 Max,
Yeah.
Max,
Yeah.
Max. You know you're not supposed to say that. You're live on my podcast too, by the way.
Oh shit. Oh.
Max.
I can't wait for that N-word coming up around the corner.
No.
Sorry, I just had a very intense game of COD.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. What were you listening to?
I was listening to nothing. I was just straight up cracked.
All right, listen. I will see you in the morning. 30 push-ups, 30 sit-ups. Will you
No,
wake?
you know what?
What?
This is what we're gonna do. Every day is 10 more.
No, dude.
So
Let's not. I'm 54.
tomorrow's 30, and then the next day's 40, and then the next day's 50.
All right, listen. Let's take it a bit. Let's do 5. 5.
5 push-ups.
No, 5 more a day, not 10.
I was about to come over you and find you and put you in a headlock.
All right. All right. Listen, I love you, buddy. Wake me up in the morning. All right. I put it on you to wake me up.
Yeah, all right. I'm just gonna watch Trump for a minute. Before I go to bed.
Trump. Get out of here. Goodbye. I love you.
I'm
Goodbye.
not joking.
Get out of here. You can't watch.
Speech.
Listen, no politics.
Trump.
No
Why?
politics because you don't.
I met Yoshi and you were watching it right now.
No, goodbye. I love you. Goodbye. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Say goodbye to Yoshi.
Dad, hold on.
Say goodbye to Yoshi. I'm hanging up on you.
Pause. Chill. I love you.
I love you.
Yoshi, I don't know when I'm going to see you.
Okay.
Maybe next
Bye.
time he's in town, I'll come over for dinner, yeah?
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Funny kid.
Yeah, he's a good kid.
That was perfect.
Yeah, he doesn't. It's so funny. He'll watch like something with Biden. He'll be like, yeah, Biden. I'm like, okay. And then I'll watch something on Trump. Trump? I'm like, yeah, whatever you want, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you don't know anything. I go, do yourself a favor. Don't get involved in any of this shit. It doesn't matter who people vote for. None of that matters. You know what matters is poor people and rich people.
Yes.
That's what matters. Poor people and rich people. It's class.
I just hate hearing people call Trump fascists and Nazis because they haven't been overseas. Believe me, I've been to police states. These people have no idea what they're talking about.
Like what? Tell me what. Explain yourself. Explain what country. Tell me the country.
Well, I mean, I was the last place I'm going Ukraine January 1st through 5, but I'm going to Moldova. And there's part of Moldova is under Russian control called Transnistria. And I went across. I mean, it's in the Moldova, so I didn't think I have to bring my passport because I already got into the country. Fuck. It looked like a scene from Red Dawn. As we were driving across the freeway, the cops, the taxi drivers say, stop filming. So we keep driving, and when we crossed the bridge, holy fuck, Russian flags everywhere, Russian tanks and Russian soldiers, and it was a completely different vibe. I mean, that area is called protected area or something like that under Russians. They could call it whatever they want, but they're occupying part of Moldova, you know.
Right.
And, no, you can't even joke around. There's nothing funny. I mean, they're funny, but you can't say that to front of their face. You know, they start yelling at me in Russian. Say, "Get the fuck out! You know, you don't have the passport. Just drive back, U-turn." You know.
They made you go back?
Yeah, my friends said they're Moldovans, so they didn't have to do that. But yeah, you really feel that sense
Of
of
not freedom.
yeah, and
I mean, when I was in Cuba, dude, I felt the same thing. It was like, you can't, like, we didn't film everything because if we film somebody like exchanging money,
or get caught.
they'll
Yeah.
go to jail for 10 years.
Yeah.
And there's not even you can't go hire a good lawyer and get out of it. You're just going to jail. The government will just put you in jail.
Or they'll release you. You got to the point where you're dying, just
Yeah.
like that. Just like that kid in North Korea stole something. They sing him like a vegetable. Remember that a couple years ago?
No, who was that? Was that an American kid?
There's some American.
Oh,
kid,
yeah.
he stole like a poster or something.
Yeah.
And then within 2 years, he came back, or a year and a half, comatose, and within a few days he died.
Yeah. I mean, people don't understand. They say this country sucks and blah. It's
They don't
like,
know what the fuck they're talking about.
they have no fucking clue because they've never been out of this country. They've never stepped foot into a country that doesn't have freedom, that doesn't have resources.
Yeah.
And this country is so good. The fact that you can sit there, burn the flag, fucking spit on people and say whatever the fuck you want without anything happening.
Yeah.
People in Cuba, if they talk against the government, they go to jail.
Yes.
If they say anything against Fidel or the government, they go away.
Late 80s in East Berlin, you get caught. The families were like telling on each other, and Stasi will pick you up. The secret police would take you, and you're gone. You disappear forever.
You go away. You're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I travel a lot, but one of my favorite places, Bobby, is front of the White House. And the reason I love the front of the White House,
I've been there.
it's great because it's one of the most important property, in my opinion, because when these dictators come to the United States and talk to the president, there's a scene where they walk across the front of the White House. It's the few times that dictator citizen who live in the USA will go there and say, fuck you to that guy, because that would never happen in that country,
Never.
We allow that shit. We allow people to say, fuck Trump, fuck Biden, fuck
it.
Harris. It's the greatest thing. And when these people recently, New York Times, want to change the Constitution and get away, these guys are scumbags.
Yeah.
This is what makes this country so great. They really don't understand how lucky we are.
Yeah.
Absolutely lucky.
The fact that you can sit there and say fuck Trump and he's
Yeah,
a piece
fuck
of
CIA.
shit. Fuck the CIA, fuck the government,
Yeah.
fuck the president, whoever it is, and not be just taken and never seen again.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot around the world.
And that's the norm, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
America is not the norm. It's the most unusual situation ever.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I get sick and tired of these people. I have friends. I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't vote this election.
I guess you didn't need to.
But I just don't like when they were saying like stuff about Trump or whatever. They read the media. It's clear. They're just literally going after him.
Yeah.
And like I went to his rape case.
You what? I'm sorry.
Jean Carroll, right? She accused Jean Carroll accused Trump.
This is why I love you. Who would ever take an afternoon to go to a rape case? You went to Trump's rape
opening
trial.
night when they're selecting jurors, and I went there to the.
How did you get tickets to a rape trial?
No, you go there first. Like standing in line, you could get in.
Like getting in the new iPhone?
I wouldn't do that shit. I get it from my nephew, makes him switch up anyway. But like my friends who hates him keep saying he's a rapist. Like, no, it's a defamation case. In defamation case, all you have to prove is 51% probability that something happened.
Right.
Even those judges would tell you there was no vaginal penetration, nothing like that. But all you have to do is like be vague and spread that information. All of a sudden, everybody's saying he's rapist. He didn't rape anyone.
What happened?
I mean, I think if I remember, she claimed they were in a department store and he raped her supposedly middle of the afternoon.
That's a hard rape.
It's absurd.
That's a crazy situation. Sorry,
I'm not saying
I didn't mean it like that. Like
I'm not saying
I didn't mean there was easier
I'm just
ways.
saying he didn't grab her tits or ass or something like that.
Right.
But I'm just saying part of the reason why so many black men voted for him, I think, because they've been in a situation, they've been accused or convicted of something they didn't do.
Yeah.
And it's a hearsay or just somebody's just proving to the juror like 51% probability. Now, it's not a criminal conviction because you know that standard you have to clear to convict somebody, it's fucking high, and they know that. So you go civil suits, But I remember I overheard him like, I mean, I'm not saying this is what he said, but it sounded like when he's saying it low enough that they can't hear.
Was he there?
Yeah, I was in that room, like,
Right.
and it's like I think he was saying like this fucking lying bitch or something like that, you know?
Oh,
Like,
really?
Yeah, because I mean, let's say she's right and she's rightfully angry at him, but let's say he's innocent, never met this bitch. Of course, I'll be saying the same thing. This fucking bitch,
Yeah.
and now she's just like a famous, going to different events, getting paid money to speak. She didn't particularly have a career writing books and things like that. She might be telling the truth. I don't know because you never know exactly what happened, but. You know, I'm just saying, like, all it takes is somebody telling better story and prove the 51% probability that something happened. Like,
And that's your
fuck
label.
me, yeah. And like, I'm sitting like, I didn't know that, you know. So anyway, when my friends' wives are saying stuff like that, like, I don't want to lose my friends' friendships. I keep my fucking mouth shut. But like, you know, everybody read whatever the information confirmed their biases, right? But when we grew up, when we didn't have algorithm, we go to library, we pick a magazine, newspaper.
Yeah.
So what I used to do, because my family's poor, I didn't have any money to do anything. I go to the library from magazine A through Z, spend all day because I don't have nothing to do. I look at all the magazines, just read them.
Right.
Right. So like I have general information, but I don't know anything in detail. You
Right.
know? But speaking of rape.
I'm sorry. What a segue.
Two things.
What the
Speaking of rape,
I'm glad. Hang on, make sure Max doesn't call again. Speaking of rape, go ahead.
December 18, 19, 20, this year, I'm going to Avignon, France, because there's a big court case. It's called Mazan rape case. There was a guy, he used to knock his wife out with a drug, so she passed out. And for the last 10, 11 years, he will bring like 50 to 90 guys and rape her and film her.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's a big rape case in France. I'm going to go for that one. I don't speak French. I'm still going to stay in line and go in because here's the thing. I don't speak language, but I understand violation. You know, I understand outrage. This lady, Giselle, I forgot her last name. Sorry, I haven't slept much, but Giselle, she's so brave. The court and judge in France give her option make this private court so that public don't have access. And she said, "Fuck that. Let them hear everything.
Right.
Let them see all the video."
Yeah.
The reason why it's been dragging from September to December is because there are so many rapists. They can only charge 5 to 7 guys per week.
Oh my God.
So it's going to drag until like December, and I, as someone who is like you were saying, like a weird porn guy.
Yeah.
Some of these guys are making an argument like, well, I didn't rape her because I thought they were playing a role. Like she pretended to be asleep and they were playing a role, like a fetish or something like that. Here's the thing. When you do porn scenes, you know, you have sex with a lady and like you ejaculate on her face. Afterwards, you say thank you because you did her work. She consented. No problem.
It's a job.
It's a job.
And all the stuff, you know, all the stuff that you do
Yeah.
is set up.
Performance art or whatever.
It's performance. Yeah.
So if these guys are making an argument like they thought it was fetish, you're not supposed to talk during the scene, then it's strange because Mazan's a very small town. In fact, she recognized one of the rapists after the fact where he used to smile at her at the grocery store.
Oh, God.
But never saying anything to her, you know, because if you knew it was a role and afterwards you would have talked to her,
Yeah.
like
Hey,
when
that
you're
was-
picking up apple or something next to her, hey, that was a great scene or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Nobody ever did that because I think everybody knew what they're doing was wrong. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a
How
small-
many guys were there?
Between 50 to 90, but
Jesus
one guy passed away. Maybe there's 30 or 40 that they couldn't identify because maybe they had a mask on or something, but there's 50 of them. And we're talking about like firemen, lawyers, doctors, construction workers.
See, that's the thing, too, is like,
Yeah.
how do you get invited to something like that?
Yeah, a couple of people ran out because it was like online thing that her husband would knock her out.
What a piece of shit.
Yes, it's a piece of shit. There's no question about that. But there's part of me want to know what happened to him that he allowed this. You know, because I think, and I think sometimes people get mad at me. I'm not condoning any of it, but if we're going to prevent something from happening in the future,
What happened to him to make him do this?
because
Then maybe you could find other people can be like, this stuff is happening to me.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. Let me go get help, or let me
Yeah.
figure this out beforehand.
yeah, and I think
Well, it's pretty brave of her. You're right to put this out in the public.
Yes.
To expose it all.
Yes.
Number one, to expose these pieces of shit, and number two, that
Believe me, he's not the only one doing that in the world.
what
I'm just saying that
Oh.
he's not the only one.
you seem to follow. Like last time you heard you talk,
Yeah.
you were really into going to serial killers' places where they went, where they
I
killed.
went today.
Where'd you go today? You fucking nut. This is why I love you.
Rex Hellerman's house.
Who's that?
He's the Long Island serial killer.
Oh, the one that you just caught a few years ago.
Yeah, I went to his house today.
What? Why?
Because I have a couple friends that I'm going to surprise them with a gift. I stole something from their yard. Not stole, but they had stuff, rocks, or they had this
Earrings?
a finger. No. Yeah, so I had to take a Long Island Railroad to get over there. I took a picture of the place. I kind of freaked out because his wife was there. The vehicle was there, so I don't want to make it too obvious, you know. So
Really?
So I got like a couple rocks. There's a funny comic named Cam Patterson.
Yeah.
He's been Kill Tony show. He collects
Good.
rocks. So
Yeah.
I got a rock for him from the serial killer's house. You know what I mean? And he's a nice kid. You know, he's very successful. And he would say, "Hey, are you hungry? You want to get your cheeseburger?" He's headlining, but he's still nice enough to go and do that kind of stuff for you.
Yeah. So you're gonna give him a rock from a
Rock
serial
at the
killer's
serial
house.
killer's house. So I got him a
You're
rock.
such a sweet guy.
And,
how thoughtful.
But that guy killed, I don't know, half a dozen women and one Asian transgender person in the Long Island beach.
How was he killing them?
Strangulation, I think.
So how would he get them? Were they on like a jogging trail or
No,
something?
no. There's like a dating app or something. They're prostitutes, and then they show up in these places, and he's so massive. Once he grabs you, it's over for these women because they're tiny, beautiful girls. you know.
Right. And he would just grab them and strangle them
Yeah.
in his car or at his place.
Or in the or beach. Yeah, they might have been the house because I think when he got arrested like a year and a half ago, they went to his house and found a bunch of shit.
They had a serial killer in Austin last year when I went. That was
so-
killing guys.
So their claim, because either there's a serial killer or these drunk guys keep falling into a lake and drowning too. I don't know if maybe they caught somebody. I'm pretty sure there's one in Portland because they found half a dozen women.
What?
Yeah,
What do you mean?
they were finding these women in a strange circumstance, not overdose, but they're dead like last 3 or 4 years.
It must be, and I mean, how do I say this? It must be so hard to be a serial killer now with the technology that everybody has.
Well, especially young serial killers because they don't have a good housing. You don't have a basement to murder people anymore. There's a housing crisis kind of is preventing serial. I'm not joking. I'm just saying you need to have.
I know, that's why I'm laughing.
You need to have you need to have a basement to murder people, right?
Well, you could have a car or a park, I think.
I mean, I think any given moment there are probably like 30 to 50 of them. But the thing is, like friends ask them, "Well, how come we don't catch them?" Well, just like there's so many books, podcasts, documentary, reading material that explain to us, like more people know about serial killers. Here's the thing. They also read those books too.
Right.
So they know, like Bill Belichick's defense, they'll counteract by not trying to get caught, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that. And also there's people with theories that they're not really serial killers in the traditional show because they know that they get caught. So they do this one-off. They just do one murder.
But isn't that like serial killers? Like that's the thing with them is they do want. It's almost like sex.
Yeah.
Like-
compulsion.
Okay, well, it's like when you have sex for the
Yeah.
first time, and then the next time you do something a little different.
Yeah.
And then the next time you let her, you play with her butt.
Yeah.
And the next time she plays with your butt. And all of
Yeah.
a sudden now you just got stuff in your ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you just start doing crazier and crazier shit.
Yeah.
Because it's the fear. Like the first time I had anal sex with a girl, I was so afraid of it. It was like weird.
How
then-
big was the strap-on?
No. I told you, there was one girl in my life that wanted to do a strap-on to me. And she was
Hi,
like,
Jimmy.
No. I said girl.
Okay.
I didn't say queen. No, she was like, I want to fuck you. I was like, okay. She was like, no, I want to get a strap on and fuck you.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I heard you.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I got it. And she was like, all right, she wanted me to get it. I'm like, I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
Then she wanted me to pay for it. I'm like, I don't want to pay for it either. We'll split
You
it.
already fucking me. Like I have to. Yeah.
And then she was like, well, I get to pick it. I'm like, no, you don't.
No.
Yeah, we're going Dutch. I'm picking the size, whatever. And she was like, whatever. And she never did it. And she got mad at me. But, you know, like if the first time I had anal sex with a girl, it was so weird and
Yeah.
like dangerous. But after that, it was almost like I desired it. Where I was like, oh, this is what I. So like serial killers.
I think I understand what you're saying. You're saying in a very similar logic, because I think historically, you know, when authorities or parents or kids doing stuff like that, they make a mistake by saying they'll grow out of it. A lot of them do. The ones that don't, it's a big concern. Like, you know, maybe you had like anger management issues, right, growing up.
Sure.
I did too, and I still probably do. You know, something is more important than that, fantasy management, in my opinion, because these kids who have a tendency to become a serial killer, and if they're not a serial killer, they're very successful CEO that are psychopath and fire 10,000 people and just literally fuck them over, right?
Right.
And I think fantasies are, I think, in my opinion, like a coping mechanism,
Yeah.
and then to enhance it, you have to inflict pain to make it more vivid. You know,
Right.
I think whether psychopath person running for president of the United States because they have the terrible fantasy, or serial killer or business person, you know, it's like if you catch it early on, you have to deal with it. Like Dennis Rader, who is one of the most unusual and vivid serial killer,
What was he?
BTK, bind, torture, and kill.
Oh yeah, that guy was fucking crazy.
Crazy, and not only that, he broke so many rules of traditional serial killer because
Like what?
Well, they say stuff like most of them cannot keep a job. He did. Most of them cannot have a wife and kids. He did. He was also like the president of a church and things like that. So, like if you watch Mindhunter season 1 and 2, they will sprinkle vignette of him doing something throughout the 2 seasons. And the guys who were working at the behavioral science unit at Quantico will say stuff like, well, serial killers don't do this. What's full ironic, and anybody who is savvy watching the show, BTK is breaking all the rules. You know, I think the idea was when they're going to have season 3 and 4 kind of reveal like he's the most unusual serial killer because he stopped killing a few years in between in that 30-year span because he got caught twice by his wife, but also he didn't like the fact that his urge is trying to control him. So he's doing this like a Jedi move where, no, I control you, the controlling part, you know? So he was one of the most unusual ones. And,
You think he watched shows or FBI like went and said, okay, these are the
he read
things-
all those books.
So he read all those things. So
when he got caught, there was a lot of serial books, a lot of these, Pulp Fictions, crime magazines where serial killers love reading about how people are committing crimes and things like that.
Do you think he watched that stuff and learned about that? What not to do?
100%. And also because these guys like stand-up comic are comparing to other legendary serial killers and trying to outdo them too. And he I think he used to get jealous at Son of Sam because Son of Sam killed people in New York City. He's going to get huge press. Just like John Wayne Gacy in Chicago, he's in Wichita, Kansas. He was basically saying, "What the fuck do I need to do to get my name out there?" He wrote a letter to the local television show.
He was like the Rich Voss of serial killers.
All
What the hell I gotta do? I'm playing the B rooms. Fucking Matt Rife's doing theaters.
Really, it drove him crazy. The reason he got caught, because some guy a couple years before getting caught said, I remember, I forgot the guy's name, but he wrote a book basically saying that he's probably dead now or in jail, and he was writing a book about BTK. BTK got so angry that somebody else is going to take his narrative that he started writing letters to the local television shows again. Which led to his downfall within a year or two of that.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not.
So his own ego got him.
Oh
back.
yeah. It's him, Zodiac, all those
But
guys.
they never caught the Zodiac.
Well, That's a tricky question, isn't it? Because he got never caught, he might have gone to prison for some other criminal.
But he never got caught for those murders.
No, I mean, there's a new documentary on Netflix, and they have a theory that this Allen guy, but Lee Allen, I forgot the name, but no, you're right. They never got him officially. Yeah.
But who else haven't they caught?
Well, the biggest one is Jack the Ripper, but that was like 19th century, right?
Yeah, but don't they have a theory about that too? That he was a doctor in the area or something like that? Didn't they figure stuff out?
That's interesting that you say that, because they say the same thing about Black Dahlia murder in California, because when they saw the laceration of that girl getting her head chopped off, it looked like it was cut by somebody with precision, like surgical precision,
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we never really find out. We never really had official somebody getting arrested for those crimes, But I want to make clear, I don't study serial killer stuff because I enjoy murder and stuff like that. It's a variant of a fantasy, right? Just like Chairman Mao, Hitler, and Stalin all had a fantasy too. They were murdering people, not in a sequential serial killing thing too. When you don't manage fantasy, this is you met plenty of show business people with fantasy problems. It drives people crazy. So
No, because I was talking again in therapy. I bring that up a lot, but
before you continue, you don't want your son to get into entertainment business, do you?
I do not.
Yes,
I think
you don't. Why?
Why?
I mean, I don't think it's healthy for kids, man, or anyone.
I think music. I think acting.
This fantasy business.
I think theater.
Yeah.
I think he's in a play now. I was reading lines with him last night.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool to
I love that.
going over. We were doing his lines last night. He's playing Mr. Martini in It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, wow.
And he was doing the lines. I was like, you should do it with an Italian accent.
Yeah.
And he was like,
Which character is that? I
he's
haven't
the
seen the
Italian
movie.
guy.
In the movie?
Yeah, in the movie It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay.
Yeah, what am I gonna do?
Oh, that guy.
So I was like, you should do it with an Italian accent. He's like, how? I was like, I got to go to the bank tomorrow. How am I gonna pay that? And so it was.
You didn't want him to play Mr. Potter?
Well, no, he didn't book. He booked Mr. Martini. He auditioned.
Oh, okay.
So that's the role he got.
Yeah.
And it was just funny to see him just go, what am I gonna do? And it was like, I go, buddy, it's gonna be uncomfortable and weird to do that.
Yeah.
And it feels weird, but if you can just let go of your inhibitions of it and just have fun, and it's okay to be a little silly and.
And can I tell you something? This is a great thing, because whether he pursue acting or not, this will translate into when he had to make public speaking and
Sure.
presenting himself, and it's great for a leadership role. And
Yeah.
I think it's great to take chance when you're young.
Yeah.
To do as many different kind of things, because
Yeah.
you keep doing that long enough, you're going to find something you're good at.
Well, the thing I said to my wife, I go, whatever he's into, we get behind.
Except for porn.
No, yeah, no porn.
Yeah.
No, God forbid. I don't want him going to fucking porn. He's getting to that age where he's thinking about sex.
Yeah. Normal.
No, it's fine. He's 11. He's a boy. I get it. But I've had talked to him about porn. I was like, listen, and I believe this. I go, the porn you're gonna see is abusing women, because it's just. I go, what's gonna happen, Max? I go, you can look at girls and fantasize. I can't control that. You like girls. He likes girls. He thinks girls are hot. He wants, he talks about girlfriends, all that shit, but he doesn't understand. I go, if you watch porn, it's mostly abuse. It's women being pushed down and held down and forced and blah, blah, blah.
Wait, what's the name of those movies?
Well,
What's
happened
the website?
Well, with porn, when we came up,
Yeah.
you could go to a Playboy and you
Yeah.
see a little boob and a little bush.
Yeah.
You could get a Penthouse and see a little real vagina.
It's very, very campy back then.
Very campy, and you kind of eased into it. They didn't have the movie thing. And even when they did go into VHS tapes, to get one was so difficult. To watch it was really difficult. Now it's just on your phone, and so the spiral goes so fast. So you click on one, and then underneath that is
Yeah.
you click on, and then all of a sudden you're into some fucked up shit, and it's just clicking. It has no regulation as far as when we came up. And porn magazine, titties, Playboy.
Remember that thing I said, like all the medical service available to us that we didn't have 1,200, 1,500 years ago? These kids are seeing some of the most beautiful women in span of 10 minutes that none of these kings have ever seen in their lifetime. The women didn't look like that back then, you know? And I think too much of that, it's like binging television show, right? But you're binging porn.
Yeah.
You're just too many beautiful women and things like that. And I think unrealistic expectation of what you should look like, what the girl looks like, and how you perform and things like that, you know?
Well, it's also too. It's like it's too much.
It's too much,
It's
yeah.
all of it,
Yeah.
and it's not even like when we watch porn. We had to watch the movie.
Yeah.
You had to watch the boring beginning and the setup and the thing and the dialogue, and then you.
Bobby, you don't have to tell me. I used to work in that fucking thing.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now it's just the clip.
Yeah.
It's just the part of. There's no connection to it. And
One of the advantage of what I did, because I think for most 99.9% of people outside of the business this never work, you just fast forward, watch the part you like, you masturbate and done, you know.
Wow.
But I was kind of forced to watch the whole thing, and I think one good thing about that is, especially when they're talking, you know, behind the scene, things like that, where I still have to watch everything, right? And I think when they're having really good conversation, because if you work in a business, you see naked people all the time, or you go to like a place they're filming the actual thing, you get kind of numb. Like, I get tired of seeing that shit because you see it all the time, you
Yeah.
know? Like, literally, I was always worried working at the Evil Angel getting caught because every once in a while when they're not looking, I'll watch Pixar movie, you know, like hide it.
fucking nerd.
I'll watch that kind of shit, right? Because then I'll get fired. My life has always been reversed. Like, if you get caught watching porn at most jobs, you're fired.
Right.
My job is to watch the fucking porn, so I have to listen to podcasts or watch like Pixar movies. You know,
Yeah.
Toy Story 1, 2, and 3, and 3 always make me fucking cry. You know what I'm saying? Because if you watch too much porn, you get sick of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like eating great sushi every single day. You're gonna get sick of that too. You know?
Well, it's like going to a nude beach.
Yeah.
I remember the
eventually you get used to that.
After the first hour of seeing this lady's tits next to me, it didn't affect me at all.
Yeah.
But the first
Hi,
hour,
Mom.
First
And,
hour, yeah, right. First hour was awesome.
Yeah.
Though. Yeah. I mean, we do place a lot of stuff. I just think porn now is just too much.
It's
much.
too much, but I think I might have been one of the last one working in the business where behind the scenes, where my stupid friend Aiden, he's an idiot, but he's a friend of mine. He's one of the first one to have a really long behind the scene where after the girl does the scene, they're sitting in the couch, she's fully closed, and they talk. What I really like about those behind the scenes stuff is that they're most naked when they talk about their life, you know?
Yeah.
Because you see the naked shit all the time, and Pornhub is so available. You don't really get to know these people, right? Like the way I did.
What was that TV show, the porn, Mr. Butts or something? It was a Showtime show. It was a porn.
Oh, Seymour Butts.
Seymour Butts.
He it's funny you said that. He used to have gym, workout. My boss, John Stelliano, a.k.a. Buttman, rent his gym, filming porn. Adam Glasser, a.k.a. feature Seymour Butts, thought, why am I doing physical fitness? I should get in porn. And that's how he got into porn business.
Really? Because
Yeah.
he had a gym.
He rented that room when my boss was filming.
Whatever happened to him?
I don't know.
He had like a TV show. and
Showtime, yeah, a couple seasons.
Showtime. He did.
His uncle was
porn.
working with him.
His mom.
Yeah.
Remember, his mom was working too.
And Taylor Hayes was one of the most beautiful women in that business, vivid girl.
Yeah.
He got her pregnant, if I remember.
Yeah, his secretary wound up being his girlfriend. Wound up getting
Yeah.
into porn.
And one of the girl that he was, Alicia Klaus. She was one of the crazy wild one. It's not. I'm not very proud of it, but I remember like she put her lollipop in a Persian asshole and threw, and I was lucky boy that got it. And of course, I stick it in my mouth.
I'm gonna throw up.
You always throw up when I took you to that the milk shit. Remember that? That tattoo parlor. We stuck a milk in this girl's asshole and she shut it out. You almost threw out.
It's the fucking.
I call that Wednesday.
You're desensitized to all that stuff.
I got so used. I mean, I used to mop those booths in the porn shops, you know. So
You were a jizz mop guy?
I told you that before, Bobby.
I forgot that. I think I buried that out of my brain.
When they had a
How much does that pay?
not that much.
Do you get tips?
But it's like when you
Did
start.
anybody ever
It's
walk
like
up?
when you started in comedy, you have to do all the shitty open mics, right? That was my porn open mic where I had to mop those booths, you know.
Was there anything other than jizz in there?
Blood, shit,
Oh,
piss,
God.
syringes. Sometimes they pass out and their hair is stuck on the floor.
I'm
and
gonna
they
throw up.
Get the fuck out.
Oh God. So now, moving on from this, I just got to talk to you about these other things because you're.
Oh, and then another rape thing I'm going is May 5th, 2025, the big one, the Super Bowl of all. It's a Southern District. Boys and girls, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, and also known as Boys' Days in Japan, is Diddy's court case in May 5th.
That's what I wanted to
I'll be fucking be there. Believe me, motherfuckers.
You're going to the.
I'm
big
going to stay
one.
in line. Yeah, I'm going to get there on like May 4th to stay the night.
And that's the
May
Super-
4th, which is the Star Wars night. So May the 4th be. No, I'll be there night before and stay in
That's
line.
the Super Bowl of all this shit.
I want to know because I think
What do you think? I mean, who's going down with him? I mean, they're trying to get Jay-Z and Beyonce. I mean, J-Lo seen it in like they're putting everybody with him. Okay, they got.
Can I tell you a quick story? It's a little long-winded, but can I tell you a story that kind of have?
Fuck yes.
Okay. When I was 12 and 13, one of the teachers was talking about the story of Invisible Man, right? And I thought, oh, that's an interesting story, you know. And then I got the book. I didn't realize there was two books. The Invisible Man, where the guy is a scientist and becomes invisible, right? And there's another book called Invisible Man, written by Ralph Ellison, African-American guy, writing a story about this unnamed black character who is seen socially invisible by white people. Well, I get that fucking book. I'm reading it. I'm getting angry because I'm saying to myself, when is this black motherfucker going to turn invisible? He fucking doesn't, right? So like I got the wrong book. There was interesting part in that book. There was a scene in the book when this unnamed black protagonist, great guy, he's going to college or something, and he's driving this like mildly racist rich white guy for this college, right? So they're driving around, they get lost, and he driving to this farm where this black pariah, like even in the black community, this black character is like shunned by everyone. Why? His name is Mr. Trueblood. The reason why other black people shun him is because they have a small house, they have one bed. He accidentally got his daughter pregnant. So, you know, he got his daughter.
How do you accidentally you trip?
It's dark, so they were sleeping, and I think his daughter got scared and just sneaking in the middle of the night. And it's in the book. I mean, I'm not making this up, but he got his daughter pregnant. Here's the interesting point. This racist white guy was just wowed by this guy. And like amazed, maybe a little disgusted, but amazed. And everybody knows incest is the white man's game. And this motherfucker is the Michael Jordan of a child fucking, right?
Right.
This white guy was so wowed by this guy, give him money. And even though everybody hate black people, because he did such a big perverted thing, all the powerful rich man in that town supports him. And this black guy, even though he's shunned by black people, because he got this perv thing as a currency,
Yeah.
he know how to manipulate white people,
Right.
and he's using it his advantage. Well, that's what Diddy did the same thing. You could be talented in music, you might be black, but if you have enough perverted currency, you could supersede all that and become a powerful person. So whether they're in music or finance or movie industry and things like that, if you have that particular fantasy and perversion, you could use it as your advantage.
So you think P. Diddy parties are his version of Epstein Island?
I mean, clearly, maybe he had a tendency to want to do those things. But believe me, he knows a lot of dirt on a lot of fucking people. I mean, even me, knowing certain porn girls, and sometimes people call me, we need a prostitute for this famous person visiting town. I know a little bit of that, and we're, believe me, even at the basic level, when you work in a porn shop in Seattle, there's times like a vice president of Microsoft or Boeing, they're renting fucking because remember, internet wasn't. They either had to buy movie or rent them. So if I recognize them, either they're renting or buying movie. So I know like, well, this particular CEO is always watching this particular porn. What does that say about you? So like, I had that information early on from '90s, right? So when you go to stand up, and all of a sudden I'm hanging out with Jim Norton, he take me to Tonight Show. Then all the Tonight Show will like me, and anytime any of the stars say they like certain kind of porn, they call me. I bring box of porn. I meet these people, right? Then eventually you notice like patterns, like, oh, this particular star into this kind of porn. I wonder why. Then I just sit down and speculate. Then I have all the other perverts at the Evil Angel will speculate. And somebody always said like, oh, I bet for this reason because I noticed he does this A, B, and C. So like you could kind of porn you watch is almost like a credit report. It tells me a lot about you, you know. So I think Diddy or Epstein. It could be misdirection too, because there's plenty of other perverts who use them as a scapegoat and protect themselves too. You know, this happens all the fucking time.
Well, we've never learned anything about Epstein. I mean, you got Bill Clinton going there all the time. You got all these stars that went to this island.
Yeah.
And nothing happened to anybody.
No.
And it's wild. And you got this. He of course committed suicide.
Yeah.
Which is horseshit. He was murdered. And then you got this woman, what's her name?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Now you hear,
I was there for the verdict. I was there for sentencing.
but you hear nothing about. She's never.
She's not going to say anything.
But why isn't she going to say anything?
Her father probably was also killed. Robert Max was. They claimed that he fell out of his ship 30 years ago, and she said most likely some intelligence agency had him killed. Like. They're useful as long as they get information from others. And such a compromising information, I think, you know. But as soon as they become even bigger burden, then you have to get rid of them, I would imagine. Because
So, do you think P Diddy is in danger of being killed?
I mean, I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is, it's a complicated issue because now there's too many people accusing him. Like I know he probably did a lot of it, but I don't believe everything.
Well, like Justin Timberlake. I mean, not Justin Timberlake, Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
I mean, this kid is, you know.
Amazing kid because he's going out of his way to protect other young men and girls.
Is like he's supposed to be, you know, we know P. Diddy's into some gay stuff now, right?
I think he's into a lot of stuff, I think.
And they're saying.
Including maybe that.
They say that he maybe
allegedly
raped, Justin Bieber. And took advantage of him, and maybe even Aaron, the kid, the kid from Backstreet Boys' little brother.
Yeah.
And you know, and then you got Corey Feldman, who's been saying, "Look, man, this shit's going on for years, and nobody wants to say anything about it."
Yeah.
And it's kind of whack to me that they got this guy on all this shit that we don't even know what it is.
Right.
And the trial's going to happen, and so many people have been to these parties, to the after Diddy party. And we still know nothing about it. Like no one else has been charged with anything. And are we ever going to know?
There was a case in Chicago. There was a guy named John Norman. He was like one of the biggest pedophile, and he was publishing a magazine called Odyssey something, Handy Andy. This like a publication, right? And he considered these things like natural nude, nudist magazine, but really what it was it's a publication where he would ship it to his subscribers where they could traffic young kids or young men and things like that. Now, he had a mutual friends who were connected with John Wayne Gacy and possibly Dean Corll, a.k.a. Candyman, down in Houston. So there was a network of guys receiving this publication. John Norman went to prison. He was still writing that publication in prison. Nobody stopped him. The reason I'm telling you, twice he was caught with the Rolodex of all the subscribers nationwide, 50 to 100,000. Both times when they were retrieved, eventually disappeared. The only reason few people got caught because one time one of the Chicago, I think Chicago newscasts kind of filmed, couple Rolodicks, and their names got filmed. So those people got in trouble. But other than that, all those names disappear because if powerful people are abusing young men or young girls or other non-consenting sex, they're so powerful that they're not going to get in trouble for that. So to answer your question with Epstein or Diddy and things like that, even if you get the list, is this the original, redacted, is it fake, or misdirection? We just don't know. The sad reality is people do get away. But here's the good news. People are talking about it, and we're taking it more seriously. Just like, when Jeffrey Dahmer was murdering those gay men and when Gacy was killing all those gay men, I don't think it was within imagination for police that men could get raped and things like that. So they didn't take it seriously. And all the female prostitutes were getting killed because they're social pariah. Some people even thought like, they're not real people and things like that. I think that's slowly changing to the point where you shouldn't tolerate any of that for any level of socioeconomic background, and we should protect these people no matter what. And I think it took them a long time. I mean, we still have problems, but it's not as bad as like 50 years ago. Like going back to this movie, Honora, Sean Baker's movie that was released. I love a guy like that because he puts sex workers as a human beings that need to be protected, and that's the best way to protect all women, right? And I think it's necessary. And you know what? You know who was one of the original person protecting prostitutes?
Jim Norton.
Jesus Christ. Well, well,
Mary Magdalene?
yeah. And I think when you illegalize prostitution, what happened is, because I'm from Seattle, even when the prostitute knew the Green River murderer, Gary Ridgway, they're not going to go to the police because they're afraid of getting arrested as a prostitute.
Right.
So these laws are counterproductive, and you don't really protect people.
Yeah, prostitution. I don't understand. Like, let a woman do what she wants with her body. If she wants to sell, if she wants to have sex for money, why can't like in Amsterdam it's fine, in other countries it's fine.
I think they're worried about pimping out and then like organized crime taking
But
care
now,
of it.
I mean,
but
we don't really need
I
it.
agree with you. I think you probably create more problems that way too. I don't.
Well, how does Amsterdam get away with it? I mean, the government.
It's not a perfect system either, but I will say that, Bobby, out of all the places I've been to all over the world, my personal opinion, Dutch women are most confident and sexually have a high literacy because most countries that go both one of these two, right? Either pornography is legal, prostitution is illegal, or prostitution is legal, pornography is illegal. But Netherlands is one of the few countries where both of those things are legal. And I noticed with the Dutch women, they're very confident. Like they know what they want in life, sex-wise, they're not shamed and things like that. I think that's a really, really good thing. But there's plenty of places on the planet where people have a very limited literacy about sex, and I think it's it's a problem. I think.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between fantasizing and I don't think you should be ashamed of your fantasies.
There's a lowercase fantasy and then capital fantasy, which is these motherfuckers have to murder women and things like that.
That's crazy shit. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, we got to wrap this up. We've been talking for an hour and 40 minutes.
Sorry.
I'll fucking talk to you all day, dude. You're one of the most interesting dudes I know. When you come back for the Diddy trial, will you come back on and let us know what's going on with it?
Sure. I just want to mention a couple of those dates.
Yeah, I got all your dates right here. We're going to mention everything.
But one other thing I want to say.
I love that Danny just put a thing on here. We have to do questions though. We have questions for you.
One last thing.
Yeah.
We have a mutual friend in Austin, John. He's been kind of editing your clips and always sending you messages, and if something happened. He's a friend of mine. He just moved to Toronto. I just want to thank him because when I was living in Austin, he always provided me a place to stay, and he's a huge fan of you, all your podcasts, always talking about you, Brian Holtzman, and very critical other podcasts. But John in Austin moved to, now he's a Toronto John, I guess. But yeah, he messaged your assistants and the people who work for you.
Yeah.
He used to edit and send clips for you guys when you had other shows stealing idea from your show. John was the one like, this is not right, and he wrote to you guys. And,
Oh, is that him?
that's him.
Oh,
yeah.
no shit.
Yeah, so I want to just congratulate him. I'm sad that he moved from Austin. You know, things wasn't going well, Airbnb business, but he got a job. He's back in Toronto, but he watched everything that you do.
What's up, John? What's up, buddy? Thanks.
So if
for,
you ever perform Toronto, I hope
yeah,
you could give him a couple.
let's
tickets.
hang out.
Yeah.
I'll give you absolutely get him some tickets. And
But yeah, he always sent you, message you stuff, idea for stuff. Somebody stealing idea from you, show. That's John was doing the whole time.
A.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. I appreciate that. What's up, buddy? Now you got dates. Where are your dates, dude?
I'm doing Houston and Dallas with Russell Peters. I think
How's he doing? He won't call me back. Why?
No, I don't know. I don't know why he doesn't call people. Like shit.
I mean, he was supposed to be in comedy camp, and then he had to bail because he had a tour,
Yeah.
which is fine.
He wished it happened last year because he could
Yeah,
have done it. Yeah.
he was supposed to be in comedy camp. We were supposed to do. We wound up doing it later than we could, and then he was like, "Look, I got.
I want to marry Beth.
Beth Stelling."
Beth, I'm sorry, Mary Beth. My
And
friend.
Beth had a bail too, which I'm fine with. I love Beth and I
Yeah.
love Russell, but I tried to call Russell just to let him. Hey, man. it's
He
cool."
understand, but he's got a lot of bills too. So
No,
yeah.
but I do 100% get it. Love him.
Yeah.
But I called him to be like, "Hey, dude, it's all good.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. You know, to get him off, let him off the hook type thing. Like,
Yeah.
hey, bro, you.
And I was talking to Brendan, the guy who
Yeah.
you work with. Yeah,
Love
yeah,
Brendan.
yeah,
I mean, we didn't even talk about comedy camp.
yeah.
It was fucking crazy. And
I don't want to give details. I love that idea. I can't wait to.
I just can't wait for this to come out.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. But
And also, I'm doing November, December, January in Switzerland. I'm doing a lot of, not a lot, but I'm doing shows and then podcasting.
where can people find this out? What's your website?
I think it's inyourfacecomedy.ch. I think that's the website.
What the fuck is .ch?
I don't know. It's Switzerland, but some reason it's CH. And I'm working with a guy named Christian Baker and my friend Harry. So I'm leaving week from this. I'm leaving next Monday to Europe. Yeah,
And how long you gone for?
until late January.
And then you're back here.
Yeah, I'm going, but half the time in Switzerland, other half I'm going to be like in Serbia, Moldova, Ukraine, Hungary.
So funny, dude. You're
Greece.
fucking hilarious. I mean, dude, you're gonna be fucking everywhere. What is this?
That's all the things I send email. No.
So you're gonna be in Buffalo, New York.
Oh, Hadi Matar, he stabbed Salman Rushdie, so they're doing jury thing. I want to go because I read that motherfucker's book, Satanic Verse in '88. I want to be in the room, sitting those two motherfucker, one eye Salman Rushdie looking at the motherfucker to stab him. I want to be in the fucking room,
Right.
Because I like cringe humor, but that's going to be really awesome. So I'm going to that one too. And I just got back from Japan for the Lucy Blackman murder. She was murdered 24 years ago by, sadly, Korean Japanese, one of my people, chopped her up in pieces. My dad and I, we drove from Osaka, Japan to the Kanagawa prefecture. We couldn't find a place because I didn't have a smartphone. Well, I went back 8-9 days ago. I sneaked into this beach. You're not supposed to go there. Found a cave where they buried the body. It took me 24 years to get there.
And do you take pictures of this?
It's in my Instagram. I kind of freaked out on that one because as I'm getting closer to the cave, I saw a bunch of fishermen cutting up those giant tuna into pieces.
Yeah.
So as soon as I get to the cave, I'm thinking Lucy Blackman's body getting chopped up to pieces. Like,
Yeah.
I took a quick picture. I feel bad. Lit my semi prayer thing and got the fuck out of there. You know.
Yeah.
Because it's a restricted area. You're not supposed to jump over the fence to go over there, but. I waited until everybody disappeared until some snotty kid was fishing. I just ran over there, climbing like a monkey.
What's your Instagram?
At Yoshi Obayashi.
You
So
have to follow him.
and I'll put the Rex Hellerman's. I mean, it wasn't that much, but I went there today, and then serial killer is one aspect of fantasy, but Bernie Madoff was fuck thousands of people, psychopathic. You don't have to murder people. You could do terrible things to people.
Yeah.
What he did as a Jew, fucking over other Jews.
Yeah.
one guy survived Holocaust, and he fucked this guy
Buddy,
over.
I've worked the stress factory. I understand. You don't have to murder people to fuck
Oh yeah,
people
Rich
up.
Boss is always talking about. So yeah. So I guess I'm really obsessed because when I look at your son, I want him to live in a better world.
Yeah.
And he's a sweet kid.
Yeah.
And you have to prepare him street smart,
Yeah.
book smart,
Yeah.
but I also think he need to be prepared for fairy tale book smart because these fantasy, whether men or women, and this is your job for your wife because there's a lot of good girls, but there's psychopathic bitches that only your wife will detect and protect your sons. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you could prepare your son fighting and things like that, but this emotional wound is even worse sometimes.
Yeah.
And your wife have to be there for him.
She is.
Kind of have to read who are these bitches trying to ruin my son. You know.
So I'm going to tell her tonight. I'm going to listen. You got to be careful of the bitches.
I mean, but seriously, there are people like that, and just like the abusive men. You know what I mean? So I think I don't want to stereotype as that all men are bad, all women. I'm just saying there are bad people, and I think people have to have this fantasy literacy.
Yeah.
And that's why I've been kind of obsessed with over this because I think it definitely hurt me, and I think stuff that you were talking about as a kid. You know, I'll quick and we could finish. Part of the reason I never had a good relationship with my mom because my mom was basically forced to marry my dad. Imagine you're 20 years old and marrying somebody that you didn't want to marry, give a birth to me, and my face is a painful reminder that she lost her happiness and things she wanted to do, right? So I didn't have a good relationship with her, and only people that were kind of kind to me, just accident or environment, it was always like sex workers.
Right.
That's why I'm really sensitive about them when they get murdered or treated badly, you know. Because
I also think comics were very
similar.
very similar to you. You've ingratiated. I mean, some of the greatest comics I know love you. And your friends.
I thought you were being sarcastic.
No, not at all.
Richard Pryor grew up in brothel, right? Famously, yeah. So I think part of the reason why he's so funny and raw because he had a difficult childhood, but there was also people that loved him at brothels.
Yeah.
Unusual place.
Yeah.
We look a lot for unusual places.
Yeah, we do. Comedians are fucking broken people.
Yeah.
And we find a way out of it.
And I hope, just like one of your close friends, I think Gary Goldman did a really good job, therapy and things like that. And
Well, yeah, what? It's weird. Like, I wish you had more time because I would definitely love to write my one-man show with you involved.
I like that stuff because I think it's a different animal, but it's really uncomfortable because
Well,
you gotta get used to the silence.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
I know. It's hard for me because my comedy is nonstop.
you get laugh all the time,
there's
and
no
all of a
silence.
sudden they stop, and so you think you start panicking like everything. No, they're so engaged, you know. But it took me about a month to kind of get used to that, you know.
Yeah.
And but it's those one man show when it's done well, it's so meaningful. You know, like stand-up comedies, they're great, but it's like eating junk food almost. It's satisfying, but sometimes you don't feel good because some of the funny shit you said is kind of mean.
Whatever.
But when you do one-man show, it really does a number to people in a positive way, I think. They see you in like a really see you.
Well, I would like to start maybe working on it and sending you stuff, and maybe you help me out with it because you've written one.
I'm terrible at it. And I think, another thing, especially because your son is going to be 12,
Yeah.
Edinburgh Fringe Fest, it's wonderful because I have friends taking their kids. So they have show at night. During the day, they just spend time with their kids, checking Scotland, shit like that.
Right.
So 1 month affair, and that's a really good exercise. It's almost like Michael Jordan went from basketball to baseball. Awkward but exciting, you know?
Right.
You do something different. Yeah, it's uncomfortable, but you learn something about yourself, and it probably will help in stand-up too, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully.
I'm going to start writing some stuff.
Yeah.
I already have a couple things. I'm going to start writing stuff and sending it to you. Tell me what you think.
I think that's the thing that I'm doing in Switzerland because they're not really traditional stand-up comedy audience.
Yeah.
So I will talk a little bit of the weird stuff that I haven't really talked about.
Right.
I mean, half of that from the Edinburgh, but other half is a lot of personal stuff, you know? Yeah.
All right, listen, Yosh.
Thanks, Bobby.
Yeah, buddy. It's great to see you.
See you in 2025.
No. Oh, yeah, you're going to come back for the Diddy trial. That's not that far away.
I'm leaving Monday,
You're
and I
leaving
don't come
Monday.
back until late January.
January. So we'll be back in January. We'll come back on. Maybe me, you, and Norton could do a show together.
Oh, I would love that. I haven't seen Jim in like 5-6 years.
Yeah, that'd be fucking great. All right, we got Morris Plain, New Jersey. The Dojo's coming up next week. And then, of course, the Beacon, New York at the Town
Wow.
Crier Theater, Kansas City. I'm going to be all over the place. Go to punchup.live/Robert Kelly. And if you're not a Patreon member, go to patreon.com/Robert Kelly and become a member. We're going there right now, and we're going to ask them the questions you asked from Patreon to Yoshi real quick. So you're going to be over there. If not, if you're watching on YouTube, just hit the subscribe button if you can and like. And
Subscribe.
Joe, what do you got, buddy?
This is Ronald Reagan, and I want you to go to YouTube and check out The Cheese Show.
I mean, the confidence you had in that was mind-boggling. I mean, just nuts.
He's too young to know Ronald Reagan.
I mean, that's not even Ronald Reagan. That was just an old guy.
Yeah.
That's Ronald Reagan now. What do you got there, fucking Zach?
Follow me on Instagram at Zachary Unlimited. That'd be pretty swell. Appreciate it.
You got better than last week, Zach. I got to tell you that. You know what? Last week you were a fucking dud. And this week you were less of a dud.
Try to step it up for you, Bobby.
You did good, buddy. Of course, Danny. Check out Danny. Danny Braff. Danny, what's his fucking thing?
I don't know.
Yeah, Danny. Check out Danny on Instagram. Just type in any Danny. All right, we're going to go to Patreon right now. You guys are the best fans in the world. We'll see you next time on You Know What, Dude?